So I think let's establish a real base understanding. What is an integrated OR, and what are the things that are that customers are looking for in such solutions today?
Yeah, it's interesting. The term integrated OR. I mean, I've been working in this industry for well over 20 years, and even seasoned professionals who have done nothing but integrated ORs often struggle to describe what an integrated OR is. And I think it's because it can be pretty much anything you want. But essentially, I mean, some people would define it, if it's a display that's mounted on an arm as opposed to on a cart, then it's an integrated OR. Of course, then you have the other extreme, which is complex hybrid theaters, cath labs, things like that. But for me, essentially, it's kind of what you see in the image there in the photo. It's a nice, clean, clutter-free, cable-free as far as you can environment where you have the ergonomic positioning of screens, so it particularly lends itself to surgery which requires imaging devices. And some form of centralized control is very nice, but that's kind of traditionally what an integrated OR is, and it's all very much about that room. The most common integrated ORs will have, as I said, arm-mounted displays. They will have endoscopy imaging devices. It could be C-arms, ultrasound, head cameras. There will be a touch panel of sorts. And then you'll have a capture system to record images, whether they're video clips or still images of the procedure for patient notes or records and things like that. The problem is that to some extent, since they all do that, that there are some sort of questionable value attempts to differentiate, and things like turning the room lights green or adding table control and things like that. But essentially they do the same thing. And the only real difference, I think, in the last 15 years has been really the sea change in video technology. We've gone from standard definition to high definition. Now we're at UHD or 4K, and of course 3D getting into surgery. So, but apart from that, we haven't really expanded the feature set.
Yeah, and just to give a sort of a Semtech perspective here, when we think about integrated OR and the application of our technology, it's really about delivering the optimum AV distribution experience, about providing, a backbone and infrastructure for carrying AV throughout the OR to make it as simple and as clean as possible. And have it be there in the background, but obviously be a key component of an integrated OR.